One of the most common questions that I get here on my channel is, where would I personally invest my money? If I were in the market to buy another home in Florida, where would I spend my money, let's just say right now or moving forward in the next 6 months? If I was in the market to buy a home or a condo or a villa, don't think I'd be buying a condo unless the sun, the moon, the stars lined up. It's just a little too risky right now. But that said, if I were going to buy real estate, where would I buy it? So in today's video, I am going to tell you exactly where I would buy and also why I would buy in this area. Now, listen, as always on my channel, I am totally open to some good debate. It does not bother me if you don't agree with me. That is totally okay, because listen, out of that comes a lot of good ideas. Sometimes you might have an idea that I didn't think of. Maybe I have one you didn't think of. Maybe somebody down in comments shares an area with us that we didn't know about. So if we don't agree, we don't agree, but this is how I would answer that question if you asked me today. So before we jump into it, if you're new to the channel, let me introduce myself. My name is Barrett Pastor, and I've been a real estate broker for over 26 years. So hopefully I'm coming to you from a place of knowledge and experience, and I can help you navigate all things Florida. I do offer 40-minute consultations if you want to do a deep dive into your particular situation. Many times people reach out to the website that rhymes with pillow and they just look for a random agent and they get random advice that is not specific to what they really need to know. If you want to talk about your particular situation, whether you're looking to buy or sell in the next 6 months or 6 years, I do offer consultations, and I'll leave it down below in the description box if you're interested. All right, so if I had, let's say, $400,000 to spend. If I had $400,000 to spend, where would I invest my money? So let me tell you what I'm going to be looking for. I look at location, obviously, first and foremost. I make sure that the area is not in a floodplain. I make sure, and I have a little bit of propensity, I have a little risk for floodplain. Like, I have bought homes in AE before, the floodplain AE. Those floodplains right now are costing, I think it's $1,500, $1,800 for the year for that flood zone. So I have bought homes in that floodplain before and done fine. You might be zero tolerance on the floodplain, and that's completely fine. But for me personally, I don't want a high risk floodplain. I also look for something that is newer. I don't need something brand new, although that's totally fine if you can get it and it hits the other things that you're looking for. But what I look for in a building structure, and for me personally, I'm probably only going to be a villa or a single family home. You may ask why. Well, the reason why is that I haven't lived for any length of time in a condo, and to me, I had about a year that I lived in a condo and it was fine, but I thought I would like being on the second floor with the lanai, and we were overlooking a golf course, but I found that I felt like I was like a dog locked in a cage. I wanted to be outside. I wanted to sit outside. I wanted the ability to go in and out, and I didn't like sitting up in that second floor lanai looking out at the beautiful view, but I wasn't in the beautiful view. It just did not feel the same for me. So right now at this point in my life, I want to be outside, not like in a cage, so to speak. So for me, it would be single family home or villa only. Villas live like a single family home. They tend to be almost like maybe what you're thinking of up north, like a duplex, something like that, where you have two buildings that are attached by one wall. But you tend to get big, open, airy, more windows, more square footage, things like that. They live a little bit more like a home. That's a great downsize if you're trying to go from a house to a condo. A villa in the middle is usually a good middle ground step. So personally, I'm looking for 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a big lanai, and I want a pretty view, whether that be some sort of water view. I don't need a big water view because the bigger the water, the bigger the price, but some kind of lake view. I like to see the ducks, things like that. I also don't mind my second choice on a view. My second choice on a view would be a preserve area somewhere where, you don't have, I just don't have back to another house. You probably don't want to either. I like bright open area, and for me personally, especially on a single family home, I like asphalt shingle roofs. Now you might say why? The reason why is that if you need to replace it, it's far less expensive to replace than a tile roof. Now somebody out there is probably saying, yeah, but a tile roof's gonna last longer. Maybe. I've been doing this 26 years. I'm going to say maybe. If you get some goofball roofer that walks on your roof, guess what's going to happen? They crack all those tiles. Now that doesn't really mean anything because the tiles are technically aesthetic. It's what's underneath the tiles that you should be concerned with, but that's a totally another video. Personally, I prefer asphalt shingle. That's going to become a problem because my understanding is that the insurance companies are starting to say, nope, we're out. We're going to make you get a tile roof. And I can do an asphalt shingle roof for like $22,000-ish. If I have to go to tile, we're talking about $42,000-ish. So different story. If you're asking me what I'd buy, I prefer personally asphalt. And also, of course, it's a huge bonus if you've already got impact resistant doors and windows in, and I think that would probably be a must for me. So all of that said, where though, Barrett, where would you go? I would go to Venice. I would go to Venice, Florida. I'm not talking about Venice Island because Venice Island is a floodplain. I would go to Venice, Florida. So there is a lot of new construction there right now, and there are a lot of really good deals in their new construction. You can be 7-8 miles from the coast, from a beach, so you're not too close, but you're also not too far. They also, the beaches in Venice, you have a lot of nice beaches in Venice. Sharkies took some damage in the latest hurricane, but that'll rebuild. All of that always rebuilds. The big thing about Venice that I like is that if you've ever been to Naples and you think about 5th Avenue South and 3rd Street South, that downtown area, you know what I'm talking about. If you like that, but you find it to be a little bit out of reach, like you feel like, I don't want to spend $125 for lunch for my wife and I just don't want to do that. If that's you, if you like walking up and down and you enjoy it, but you'd like to be able to buy something and you don't want to buy like a bronze sculpture while you're out shopping for the afternoon for $12,500, then you are really going to like Venice, because Venice, their little downtown area is cute, and it's similar to, if you know Naples, 5th Avenue South and 3rd Street South, it's similar to that in the way that it's kind of laid out, and there's a cute little park in the middle, and they have events going on all the time. It's close to the water. There's a pier nearby. Not identical, but similar. But it's much more in reach. If you're somebody that's like, I just don't feel comfortable in that atmosphere. I don't feel like that's me. If you're that person, but you like that vibe, then you really might like Venice. I personally really like that about Venice. I like the artsy feel of Venice. I'm not saying anything bad about Naples at all. Downtown Naples is amazing. You can't take anything away from that. But I think if you've been to both places, you'll understand. That it's pretty elite in downtown Naples. I think we can say it that way. It's definitely, it's pretty elite down there. In Venice, it's more in reach, I think, for everyone. The other thing that is very interesting, so we've talked about new construction, that's a bonus. We've talked about being close to the beach, bonus. We've talked about having a downtown area that's cute and within reach and artsy, another bonus. But what we have not talked about is what the numbers are looking like right now, which is one of the most important things to me when I look at property. Why? Because when I personally buy something, and I would suggest you do the same thing, you need to have an exit strategy. You need to know that if you hate it, you don't like it at all, that you have a way out, whether that be a rental, that you can rent yourself out of it, that you can sell it, that you can hold it to ride through a bad market. You've got it. The more exit strategies that you can build into your acquisition, the better. So right now, just take a look at this. I'll pop it up right here. Look how many active listings are on the market, and it's season. It's season. 84+% increase. Now, what have I been telling you? Now, also interestingly enough on that, little tiny bump down in sales. So why is that? Why are we seeing such a huge increase in the number of properties that are on the market and just a little drop down in terms of what they're selling for? I think we're just putting our toe in the water. I think we're just placing our foot in the quicksand. And personally, you know, I've been saying this for a long time, I think the prices are coming down. 2025, the prices are coming down. I'm not saying they're coming down everywhere, okay? Somebody always wants to tell me that prices are not coming down across the board. I agree with you. There are going to be some areas, if your needs personally are very niche, like let's say you want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath pool home in a specific neighborhood, in a specific type of lot, facing a certain direction with X amount of car garage, and you want to look at this and not that. If you're very niche down on what you want, when you see it, you should buy it, because it might be something. If you're looking for maybe the pitchfork in a haystack, then you have to consider that. But if you're just looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home with a pool, and then lots of communities will work for you, and you don't have any, I have to face southeast, or you know, whatever it may be. I have to have white kitchen cabinets. I have to have X amount of space in the lanai. If you don't have those needs, then you're going to have a lot to choose from. So remember that. There are some people that really should go when they find it, but there are many, many people that are not that particular, and if you're not, then you're going to have a lot of homes to choose from. So what I think is happening right now, since we're enough time after the recent hurricanes, the terrible season we've had with 2024, the flooding, the insurance problems, the population of folks that live in Venice, I think we're just in a turnover. We're in a situation where a lot of people are just done. They're just ready to go. They don't want to deal with it for another season. 84+% active listings increase, that is a lot. That is a lot. And I think that if you see that trend sit anywhere close to those type of numbers, if homes continue to come on the market to that level, and that's just not homes, by the way, that's just real estate coming on the market. If you see that continue and stabilize somewhere in that range to where people are just really putting their properties on the market, there's no way that prices aren't going to come down. There's just no way. Right now we're sitting at almost 5%. I think that's going to easily triple. That's just my guess. That's, you know, my crystal ball over here. That's what I think is going to happen, though. Builders right now, I think they see the writing on the wall because they're giving away the farm. They're giving everything away. You can really get a good deal on new build right now. And there's lots of them going up, and there are lots of new ones that we've been made aware of, which is why I suggest always, if you're time out, then do a consultation with me if you're interested, or do a consultation with somebody that knows the area, because there is a lot that you could take advantage of right now. So backing up and answering your question as to where I would buy if I were in the market, that's where I would buy, because things are lining up there to have multiple exit strategies in a great location that's still a little bit one-off. That's a one-off from Sarasota. It still is. People are just starting to discover it. Same thing like Estero. If you think about Naples, Estero is a one-off where people are just kind of saying, hey, you know what? This is a really nice area. I could see myself living in this area. So for those reasons, I think that's a really good area to target right now. And then the one thing that I would mention additionally, which is also going to make it interesting, there are some communities in Venice that were mobile home communities, and they got pretty much decimated by the last hurricane. Well, there are a couple communities that are letting people, instead of replacing that mobile home, manufactured home that got destroyed, because remember the 50% rule, you can't always renovate. Sometimes you have to scrape and put something new down. A couple of those mobile home parks are allowing people to put tiny homes up, because tiny homes have been proven to hold better in the wind in those type of situations, hurricane scenarios. So if you're interested in knowing more about that and which ones so far have approved that, let me know down in comments and I'll do a video on it and make you aware. But I think that is really interesting, because a lot of people are asking, where can I do a tiny home? Because they don't necessarily want a manufactured home, but a tiny home is kind of like a stick-built home. Feel a little safer in that. Definitely more insurable than a manufactured home. So very interesting things going on in Venice, Florida. Let me know your thoughts. As always, I can take it. I'll see you in the next couple days for another video.